Hello everyone, my name is Hassan and I am going to do a little tutorial today on creating a website with Squarespace. The CV website is hosted on Squarespace, and so this is actually for the CV website team, but we're going to kill two birds with one stone and also upload it for clubs if clubs are looking to make a website for themselves, for their club, using Squarespace. Squarespace is our favorite option, so I highly encourage people to use it. We are not sponsored. Today I'm just going to go through the really basics of Squarespace, just getting a website up, making some changes and stuff like that. Also, in the future videos, we're going to be going through all the advanced stuff that's happening on the CV website. We're only going to be going through the stuff that's happening on the CV website and not everything that you could do with Squarespace potentially, because, well, the main reason is I don't really know everything that you could do potentially with Squarespace, but also, again, this is for the CV website team, for them to know everything that's going on. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, this is squarespace.com. You're going to need to make an account here. Also, really important, you need to make an account with your Ottawa emails. This is because since Squarespace is a subscription, you have to pay every year to have your website up. You get 50% off on your first year if you use your Ottawa email. It's a student discount, and so that'll save you a lot of money on your first year for your website. So that's really important. Make sure you make an account with your Ottawa email. Once you've done that, you'll probably come to some place like this. I'm actually going to open up a new tab and go to squarespace.com/pricing, because I want to see how much it costs and show you a little bit. It costs $8. The business plan is the one we're going to be going with, and then you can't really do this tutorial with the personal plan. You could do it with the other two, but they're going to cost a lot more money. The business plan is the one we're going with. It's $18 USD per month, so you do the math there on your own. And the reason we're going with business and not personal is because of this feature right here. That's complete customization with CSS and JavaScript, checkmark for business and not checkmark for personal. We need that to make our site bilingual, which is really important for us. But also many of the features that I'm going to be talking about in this series are going to be only available on the business plan because of this one feature. So yeah, if you want to follow along, you're gonna need the business one. Okay, close it. You also don't have to pay for a Squarespace website right away. You can pay for it when you're ready, when you've made it, and Squarespace offers you a trial period where you can keep editing the website, you can keep viewing it, you can even share with people with the password, but when eventually you make it public, you have to pay. So let's get started. We're going to click get started to get started. Let's get started. I'm going to bring us to this page. It might have already taken you here if you just made an account, or it might have taken you to a page that looks very similar. It's asking us to pick a template. Templates are not super important. They're really just starting points, because all functionality is available on all the templates. And if you want your website to have a personal look, I would recommend just picking a random template and then deleting everything and starting from scratch. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick the easiest one that I know that I can delete stuff off of. So I'm going to start with this Pickle Perfection one. It's also, I think, my favorite Squarespace template. So we're going to open it up really quickly. And wonderful. It is open and there. So things to watch out for, or things that we're going to start off with, is you can first, this is a page what's going to look like for you. You can view the website without leaving the editor ever, like how it looks and how all the buttons work, by clicking this arrow here at the top right hand corner, and it'll turn the website into viewing mode, and you can view the website. You can click the buttons and it will act as if it was you were actually using it. If you click that down again, it'll take you back to editing it. If you click this mobile preview thing, then you can also see a mobile preview of how your site will look. So there is that functionality. If you actually want to see it on your desktop, you're gonna copy that. You're gonna go open a new tab, type it in, and then you're going to do !, no redirect, and it will take you to your website like so. That's good to know as well. If you want to share your website with other people who are not on the account, you can actually do that without ever paying. So if you go to settings, go to site availability, password protected, and you can add in whatever password you want, and then you can share this weird URL that Squarespace has made for you with anyone you want, and it will take them to your website. They'll enter a password and they'll be able to see everything. If you want to share with people and show people what's going on. It says, for me right now, it says at the bottom here that my trial ends in 183 days. That is because I'm a Squarespace Circle member, and you become a Squarespace Circle member after having made 3 Squarespace websites. If you're not a Squarespace Circle member, which most of you probably will not be, it will show a lot fewer days than 183. I'm not sure how much it is. I think it's 60 maybe, or 30. So that is for how long you can keep editing the website. As soon as 183 days for me are over, I can't edit the website. I can't do anything until I pay. So something to be mindful of as well. So for today, what I'm going to be focusing on is the pages section here. So let's go to pages, and you'll see here that there's two headings. So we've got main navigation and we've got not linked. Main navigation, these are all pages, by the way. This is the shop page, this is the Our Story page, this is the blog page, this is the home page. Everything that's under the main navigation heading is what shows up at the top here. So by the name, it's the main navigation, it's at the top. Anything that's not linked is still public, it's still on the website, it's just not up there. And you can get to it in other ways, like by clicking buttons on each page. So I'll show you an example. So if I move the shop page, so you can just drag and click and move it to the not linked page, and then I go back to my home page here, and then it's taking a second to load, which is new. I'm actually just gonna refresh because it should not be doing that. Okay then. I'm gonna open up a new tab because I don't know what's going on there. Probably my internet is bugging out, so let's try that again. So let's go to the home page, and you see it usually just loads up right as quick as that. And you usually, if Squarespace does glitch out here and there, and if it does that, just open up a new tab, open it up again, and it'll fix itself. And it's not perfect. So okay, so we're on the home page. As a reminder, I just moved the shop page from the main navigation to the not linked place. Okay, so let's open up the preview here, and so the shop page still exists, it's just not up here anymore, but I can still go to it by clicking shop, and it takes me to the shop page. So that's the difference between main navigation and not linked. So regardless, I'm going to delete everything first. I believe I have to make this the homepage again. I don't know what we did that made it not the homepage. So let's delete the shop page. Don't want that anymore. We don't want the blog anymore. This is just stuff that Squarespace has created just for us to have a starting point, but we don't need a starting point. We're pros. Okay, so I'm going to make a new page. And to make a new page, you can click this plus here in either main navigation or not linked. My new page is going to be my main navigation, so I'm going to click it in the main navigation one. I'm going to click a blank page. You can use layouts, and it has a bunch of templates that you can use, and for different options, different like scenarios as well. Like for a team example, if you wanted to make a team page, you could pick one of these layouts. I'm just going to make a blank page for now. So I'm going to close that, go add blank page, and it will add a blank page. This is going to be our test page for today, test page. And I'm going to make this our home page actually. But to do that, you can go hover over it, click settings, scroll down, set as homepage. This is the page that's going to go when you go to that URL. So for example, if your URL is cvo.ca and people enter that, this is the page they go to. And I'm going to delete the homepage that we had from before. Okay, so another thing I wanted everyone to just know about is when I click on add pages, there are some other options here as well under collections and more. Collections are, well, collections of things. So collections of blogs, a collection of products, collections of photos or art, collection of events. I'm not going to be talking about too many of those. I invite you to explore them. We are going to be talking about blog a little later, but it should be self-explanatory what they're for if they fit your purpose. We're going to be using actually the blog for our clubs list that we have on the website, or for any list that we make. And that's just sort of a DIY thing we've kind of come up with. Okay, so this is our test page for now. We've created it. You can see that it's empty. To edit the page, you click edit. Rocket science going on here. But when you click edit, it shows up kind of like this because the page doesn't have any sections. That's Squarespace's main thing right now, is every page has sections that are broken up. So I can actually show you what that means for the CVO website. So when I go to cvo.ca and I go to English, we'll have two sections. We have one section which says U Ottawa clubs here. So that's one section, and then another section which is Student Life Award. You see how two sections? Okay, so right now we're gonna add a section. Okay, add a section. It gives you a whole bunch of options of things you can do. Sometimes I do actually end up using these because they're great starting points, especially for like people things, for example. If you want to add your team on here, these are great places to start. For now, I'm just going to make a blank page just so I can show you everything. So I've added a section, and in that section, it automatically will create a text box for me. So we've got a text box here that you can see, and I can add text. So hello there, right? Text is added. Okay, wonderful. Before I get more into the text box, I'm going to show you how Squarespace works in terms of adding more content. It is a drag and drop kind of situation, so it's really simple to use. You don't need any coding required to make most of most of the website on Squarespace. You'll see when I hover over the text block that Squarespace automatically added for me when I made the section, you'll see 2 pluses here. These pluses, when I click on them, they will ask me to add more content either on top of the text box or below it. So let's go. I want to add to top, and I want to add a button. Now I have a button right above the text box. I'm going to open up plus again right above the button just to show you that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can add here. The basic stuff is, well, basic. You can really just add an image, a video, a spacer is just like blank blocks, all that stuff, and you can look through it. Obviously, you won't have time to go through everything, but yeah, so you can just add stuff like that. Now, the thing is with formatting, the funky thing is, what if I wanted the button to be beside the hello there? So there's a grid. Squarespace works in a grid. You can't just drag anything anywhere, which is actually pretty good because you want your website to be formatted in a certain type of way. Obviously, if you want to get more creative, you have to, look at the coding options. But for us, I don't want to get that creative, so I want to move the Learn More button beside the Hello There text box. The Hello There text box goes from this blue line to all the way to the end. So I'm going to grab, so click and hold, and then it shows me the grid, sort of. And I'm going to go to the right, and now it shows me that line. That's now where the Learn More button is going to be. It's going to be on the right side of the page. I don't want it to be on the right side of the page necessarily. I want it to be just on the right side of the Hello There text box. So I'm just going to move it a little bit. Now you see that smaller line, the smaller blue line? That means it's on the right side of the Hello There text box. When I do that, boom. Hello There text box is this, and this is the button. Awesome. And now I've got 2 columns essentially on my page. And now you see the plus is a little smaller. When I add a plus here, and let's say I add a line, my line is only on the left side because that's the column that we've established. You can obviously break the column as well, turn it into one column by going here, kind of just hovering there and adding stuff. And if I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to add a map, and now it's added in the full page. So that's pretty good. Okay, so really you just have to kind of play around with it, get a feel for how the grid works. It's actually pretty simple after a few minutes of just wrestling with it, but again, the best way to do things or learn things is by doing them. So I recommend you do that. Other things that we want to look at when we're creating a simple page is this edit button here, right here, edit section. So we can edit the section's height. So if I make it large, it adds more space to the bottom and top. If I want to make it medium, lowers it. Width is also pretty important. It's how spaced out we are horizontally. When I make it small, it's very, very close to each other. But I'm going to make it large for now. And then content alignment is if there's space on the top, is it going to be at the top and stuff like that. So it's pretty self-explanatory actually. Background is a background image that we can add, and it goes up on the entire page. I'm actually going to show you what that looks like on CVO. So that has no background image, but you see the image with all the club photos. That is one image that I've made the background image of this section, and it covers everything, including the top all the way to the bottom, which is a pretty modern look, or at least it is right now. Okay, so that's the page. When you're editing a page, you can also edit this header and the footer. Now, if you're familiar with making documents, headers and footers, they are going to be the same on every page on the website, unless you manipulate them with code. So for edit site header, when you click that button, it comes up with this little dialog box, and it has a bunch of options. So site title and logo. You can change the website title. So I'm gonna make it Hassan's Test Website. That's my title there. If I want to replace it with a logo, I can do that. This will go away and the logo will show up. And then you can also have a different one for mobile, because mobile is smaller. So if you want to have a different one for that, you can. Element is what shows up in the header. So if you wanted a button, you can have a button. If we wanted all of our social links, we could have that. Currently, we don't have any social links linked. Oh, we do. So Instagram. Okay. We don't want a cart probably, so I'm gonna get rid of that because we're not selling anything. Account login. This is only available in the commerce plan, so we're not gonna do that for now as well. So there's that. I'm actually gonna probably add a button because this is gonna be useful for us to make the site bilingual. I'll make that button like, I'll turn it into like, this is how you go to the French website. So French, and we'll get into that in the next few videos. If you go to the desktop, you can sort of change the spacing as well of things, really just play around with that. Same thing with mobile. Also with mobile, you can change what this is going to be. I like the plus usually because it indicates to me that I have to click it, and then also the layout. So if you want the plus on which end and that kind of thing, I usually want to probably want it like that. Looks good to me. Header layout for this as well is super important. I'm gonna make it like this TV website. Let me just check what that is. Okay, select that. So that will usually be a logo, and I just don't have a logo prepared at the moment. Once you're done with that, also same with footer. You can edit the footer however you like. Edit footer, and then it actually turns into more of a page, and you can add whatever you want. And again, it's the same on every website, on every page on the website. So when you're done with editing the footer and the header, not the hooter, done, and then you're gonna click save. Now this is our really weird, janky page. Okay, so the goal for after this is going to, I can't cover everything. It'll take me forever to cover all the content blocks and how to edit stuff and all that stuff. So I recommend you just play with it. The one thing I will actually just show you really quickly is the text here. Text for Squarespace is broken up into 4 categories. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and monospace. I've never used monospace. I have no idea what that is. But these are pre-established. We're going to talk about how to establish them or how to change them. Font settings. So heading 1, much bigger, bolded. No, not bolded, but much bigger. Heading 2 gets a little smaller. Heading 3 gets a little smaller. Heading 4 gets even smaller. Paragraph 1 actually changes. I think it changes the font as well. Yeah, it does. So a different font, and then so on and so forth. And again, monospace. I have no idea what that is. I guess it's just if someone knows, let me know. That's super important for when editing text, and when you're editing an image as well. There's an image block that I added when you go to design. Different kinds of ways you can format your image here. So poster, the text is on top of the image. Card, text is beside the image. And you can play around with that as well depending on what you need. So click save, and that's going to be it for this video. In the next video we're going to get into more things that are more complex, and as the parts go on and things will get harder and harder. But yeah, I guess I'll see you later. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't do that, but anyways.